Hey, what's up, guys? This is a video submission for the LP Army. Um, what was that called? The Video Jam. Yes, the Video Jam. So, Video Jam here. My name is I Love Pasta. I actually was going to change my username before. I just have never really settled on truly my go-to username for this kind of stuff. But regardless, I am here to, yeah, talk a little bit of LP related stuff with you guys. Meteora, huge shout out to the LP Army for putting on this competition, and hopefully, I can impress the judges enough to be in the conversation for the top of the leaderboards for the Video Jam competition. But really, beyond that, I've been wanting to do videos like this for a long time, and a lot of times just don't find the time to do it. And so this is a great motivation. Just turn off my sorry, turn off the notifications. Great motivation to just be able to actually sit down, take the time to do this. I do stream outside of this. I've done some streaming in relation to fantasy football. But this is really the first time I've delved into anything outside of that. I also do. I guess you could say I'm a voice professional. In my real life job, one of my real life jobs is as a sports broadcaster and a public address announcer, and I've been doing that since 2010, 2011, 2012 or so. And so I've had some cool opportunities through the years to call some college basketball, pro soccer, college soccer, some different things like that. But my passion over the last few years has definitely been in at the crypto space. I've been in crypto since 2021 and got into it actually through NBA Top Shot, and then kind of just plunged straight in from there. So I have seen some ups and downs. I started doing LP stuff, started LPing, if that's how you say that, on Meteor at basically the start of this year. So right around January, I just realized the potential and just the really powerful tool that Meteor was, and realized that my goal needed to become as good at this as I possibly could. I still haven't found consistent success, but I have found success. It's been a bit of whiplash for me. I'll have great positions where I'll see a really a profit and loss that I'm happy with, a return that I'm happy with, and then I'll have some really bad instances where I get into a token and maybe didn't realize and had to learn the hard way. The results that can occur when you get into tokens that are very volatile and maybe more risky than I had realized going in. So what I'm going to do in this video is just run you through my basic process for going through and starting an LP, kind of the main strategies that I like to do. So kind of the main things I'm going to break down here is really 5 topics. I'll try to make this quick though. Step 1 will be picking the token, and that's always probably, I think, the biggest battle in doing LPs is picking good tokens to open an LP for. So if you pick a bad token and the price of it goes down very fast, you're going to be losing money any way you slice it. And so no one likes to lose money, of course. So that's step 1. Step 2, kind of real basic, just the way I look at understanding the chart, looking at a chart for the first time and trying to get a sense of, again, if I want to open an LP here, then step 3 would be opening the range. Step 4, for me, I've found it's very important, is being patient. Sometimes I can just want to jump into a position so badly that I don't truly look at it the way that I should and understand the risks the way that I should. And so being patient, and then finally understanding price action and when to consider exiting your position. So with that, let me just jump right in, and I'm going to pull up my screen here. And this is on the Meteora page right now, and I've got a position open. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk through, starting with step 1 here. There's a couple different places that I like to go to find tokens, and this is one of them. You can see the site right here, soldmeteor.ai. Just a great way to filter tokens and get an initial sense of what might be a good one to jump into. But some other sites that I do know people like to use, this is jupe.ag. And this is their trenches section. So the actual web page, I'm not sure, but if you go to jupe.ag and then let's see, you go to Pro. I think you just go to Pro, and then you can see here your top traded tokens. So if you filter, you can put in some different filters, and I like to go by 5 minutes, scan by 5 minutes, and you can already see right here, like this one, for example, Pietro is doing, 260,000 in volume in the last 5 minutes. So that's always something that I would open up and at least look at. Sometimes there can be an opportunity to jump in and out of a position very fast, but I'm not going to go into that strategy today. And that's something I've had success at in the past, but it's not necessarily my forte. So, but anyway, Jupe.ag and then Meteor.ai, another place I do like to go. And again, big shout out here to LP Army is just you go into Discord and actually let me you guys aren't going to be able to see that. Let me just see. Well, I'll just say real fast, if you were a member of the LP Army Discord, if you aren't, you should join in. If you are, you probably already know. This is a free Discord, and the information that they have given out in here is invaluable. But if you scroll down to the side panel of the LP Army Discord to DLMM Signals, there is a channel called Multi-Day Ops, and I like to go in there and have a look at it's scanning like it's pulling from somewhere else, but it basically is scanning like the top 10 to 15 multi-day opportunities. So I like to look in there as well. Just some ways to get an idea of kind of some tokens that might be good to look at. So then just stepping forward here, let's go back. Going to the SolMeteor.ai. I already have this filtered down. So I have it filtered down to a minimum of 15,000 liquidity, age of 1,400 minutes, which that's basically 1 day. So basically, I'm telling it, don't give me tokens that are less than a day old, because those can be risky. And then finally, a market cap of 3 million minimum. So you can see you have those already filtered down. Again, that's how I like to do it. Then you can see some different pools here. And I love this tool because you can see, like, let's take this one at the top, Troll-Sol. You can see right here, 20 bin step. And if you don't know, that's, related to the type of pool on Meteor that you're getting into, and basically the price action range that you're exposing yourself to. And then there's the minimum fees. But it's like, okay, so from here I could, let's say with this Troll-Sol one, I could, click this little button here, and I could open up any one of these different, like, price action dexes, and you could kind of get a better look at the chart, see what it's doing, and see if you want to open a position. So I already opened a position earlier today, and so I'm just going to go to that real fast. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to go to this one that I opened on Stickman. So I had scanned this earlier, so let me just see if I can go back and find it. So Stickman. So here's the Stickman chart right now. Let me just full screen that so it's a little easier to see. So I entered it, I want to say, about 3 hours ago, maybe. So that would have been around 10 o'clock Eastern time. So you can see, here's where I came in right around here. So let me just make sure that I'm kind of, so when I come into a chart, the first thing I like to look for is where is it at in relation to the all-time high? And a lot of times I do set up what's called a fib chart on these tokens just to get a sense. Let's see here. I'm going to zoom out to the 1 minute view here instead of 15 seconds. I like to set up a fib chart, and I'm not going to go into that right now. Another topic for another time. But just to see basically, okay, here's the all-time high. The price action was around, let's see here. Price action, let's see what time again. What time did I enter this? Right around here. So I entered it right around this section right here. And so I could already see it. It hit an all-time high. It had come down and come back up. And so I just was thinking, okay, there's probably at least a decent chance that this will kind of dip for a little bit. And so, but we've seen like a pattern, as I'm going to zoom back out here for a second. That's another thing I do like to look at is, okay, can't really zoom in here. I'm just going to zoom out to the 5-minute. You can see a pattern of it even earlier down here of it going up, then coming back down. This is obviously a huge move right here, but then it came back down, recovered, came up again. Really strong move into market structure here at the all-time high. Came back down. You've seen a lot of movement. Another thing I like to look at is what's, again, the market cap. When I entered was above 3, but 2.4 right now, over a day old. And so I decided I'm going to enter this position and see where it goes. Again, so you're really looking at kind of the stability of the token. Like, is there a chance that this, number one, will dip? And in this case, I'm looking to open a bid ask. Bid ask is basically where, let me open up this for a sec. Bid ask on the chart here is where you basically, in this case, I opened up a position with 3 SOL, and you're basically like trading into the token or swapping into the token. Like, the lower the token goes, the more of your SOL you're putting up for liquidity swaps. And so it's the best position on Meteora in terms of risk, like your risk, the risk adjusted strategy. So basically it's the safest position to be in. As the token dips, you're buying more of it at lower prices. So when it goes back up, you're going to have it'll be a quicker amount of time for you to get in to profit. And so that's kind of my main strategy, is that I've been wanting to use is a bid ask, basically where what you're hoping this token will do is, say you open it here, you're hoping that it dips down into your kind of the bulk of your liquidity right down in this range down here, ranges for a bit, and then comes back out. And so again, I felt like I had seen with this token a good chance that, it can come up, it's gone down, it's dipped, but it has recovered. And I also, again, this is another kind of more advanced topic for in terms of reading charts, but I also try to look for points of support and resistance on the chart to see, okay, once this does drop into my range, am I setting my range at a point where it's around a support level, so that even if it does hit the bottom, there's a good chance that it does recover. There's a lot of different indicators that you can set up on your kind of DEX or charting tool of choice. I like to use GMGN.ai and have some different indicators set up down here. But suffice it to say, when I looked at this token, I felt there was a good chance that it could come down with time, being patient, and then could hopefully recover. So right now it's kind of near the bottom of my range. And obviously I'll have to keep an eye on this and just see what the price action does. But right now, it is near the bottom of my range. So I am hoping for, if it does range for a bit, hoping that it does recover. But this is a position I opened 3 hours ago, hoping to keep open for a while. So hopefully it stays within range. Okay, so again, that was kind of step 2, like understanding the chart and how I like to look at it. So then you open the range, and in this case, what I did was I opened up a bid ask. The bin step was 100. So typically, with a bin step of 100, it's a price action of minus 49%. So basically, you set it up a bin step for 100. You are looking for that token to dip no more than 49% if it's going to stay in range. Obviously, if it only dips 10%, then you're not really going to make many fees. But ideally, you want it to dip in that 35 to 45% range, stay there for a while, and then recover. There are a lot of different bin steps that are options on Meteora with different strategies. For example, an 80 bin step is minus 41%. A 125 is minus 57%, I think. A 250 bin step is something that's really safe and certainly better for volatile tokens, but that's like I think an 80% drop is what you're looking for there. So I opened up that range, and this is where I'm at right now. I open it up with 3 SOL. That's kind of my unit size, so to speak, right now. I am down on my initial liquidity, but with the fees, I'm about even right now. So it's so right now, but again, got to be patient. Hopefully it stays within range. If it goes out of range, that's where you really start to have a decision to make, and kind of it's kind of up to you in terms of your risk appetite on if you want to, how long you want to let that token be out of range, and kind of what your thresholds are for when you would close the position and just take the loss. Next, again, being patient, that's probably been my biggest Achilles heel, is just sometimes and this is just more of a theoretical thing, but I think patience is so important. And a lot of times, it's not just patience, like if it goes out of range, I need to be patient for it to come back in. Sometimes that can lead to big losses. Sometimes it can, how many times? It's happened so many times that I have, and I just think sometimes that's just the way the market is, but I've closed a position when it's gone out of range, when I've thought to myself, this token is cooked, it's not coming back. And then I'll close it, and within an hour, it will have been back, it'll have pumped back up through the top end of my range, and I'm kicking myself because, hindsight's 2020, would have had a big profit if I had stayed in. But I still think that you can also get into trouble on the flip side if you keep hoping for that. But what I mean by patience is a lot of times uh I'll open, say, a bid ask on a token, and I'll look at the chart and say, I don't think there's any way this is going to drop further than 40%. And I know that sounds crazy because tokens drop all the time, but in my haste to get into the position, and then also my wanting to make profits, I'm just envisioning if I open like a range of 60% down, like a 125 bin step pool, I just don't see it dropping into that, really sweet spot of fee generation in a bid ask. And so I'm going to tighten the range up. And that impatience, or thinking to myself, I'm not going to make profit if I don't tighten this range up, has led to, excuse me, a lot of losses for me. And I found that when a lot of times will say, okay, I'm just going to go with a bigger range and just, see what happens. That level of patience in setting your initial position and waiting for it to drop down there, those are a lot of times the positions I've been the most profitable, is when it has dropped down. Even yesterday, I opened a position on LL Jeffy, and it was a 250 bin step. So an 80% drop, and it already dropped 80% from the all-time high. I had a hard time seeing it do it again. It had recovered a little bit, but I just decided to go ahead and go with it. And sure enough, it dropped almost all the way to the bottom of that range, and then recovered probably halfway. Ended up being a really profitable position for me. So last point is understanding price action, and this is something that they do feel comes more with experience than anything else. See, even this right now, I'm looking at this, and this is definitely falling quite a bit. So I mean, you look at the chart and you kind of see, some points of resistance right here. You see this area over here, back on May 6th, where there was a lot of kind of up and down action. And then you kind of see a couple different drops where it kind of hits right around that level and then recovers. I mean, these are more just single wicks, but like this over here, for example, was a pretty big drop where it did recover, and it's starting to get back to that range now. So, I mean, there is a chance that this will drop below that. And if it drops below, let me just make a new line right here. Let's say it goes out of my range and then drops below this line. Um, there's not a whole lot of further resistance below that. So honestly, if it gets out of range and then seems to not be able to recover from this support line and drops below it, I probably would close the position. It would be a loss, wouldn't be a terrible loss. And really, again, that's another thing, another important, just theoretical part I do feel of doing this LP stuff is, I think for me, the biggest thing that I've had to try to avoid is just avoiding the big losses. A loss never feels good. But if it's a loss of, 10 to 15%, that is something I can stomach. Where if it's a loss of 40% or more of the position, that can be just a really, almost like a gut punch that can feel hard to recover from. Also just takes a little bit of time materially, financially, to recover from that as well. So again, that's something to consider. It just is being able to take those losses. That's really preaching to myself here. Really being able to take those losses and keeping a small loss from turning into a really big loss, because you certainly, with these bid ask strategies, you certainly can recover from them, but try not to just have a blowout, so to speak. So with that, guys, hopefully this has been some helpful content. It's gone a little longer than I wanted it to, but this has basically just been me kind of talking through my strategy as it's developed to this point. So hopefully this serves some value for you guys. Again, huge shout out to Meteor and the LP Army. I don't know where I'd be without many of the awesome mods and just the people in that Discord and who are consistently sharing their knowledge and just educating the masses on how to do this effectively. So thanks again, guys, and we will talk to you soon.